Hello YouTubers, this is a video about my remastering Linux to make a locked down Kiosk environment. A few years ago, before the emergence of smartphones and tablets, there was a demand for computers and terminals in various cafes and venues to give people internet access. Owning such a venue myself and coming from an IT background, I thought I'd have something like this in my pub. I didn't want a third party to do this, I wanted to do it. Specifically, I wanted to take a Linux distribution and remaster it into a very locked down Kiosk environment. I wanted it to be immune to viruses, keyloggers and the like. It would have a completely new blank session for every user. It should be runnable from a CD, DVD or USB stick, and it should be lightweight and recognise a lot of hardware, keeping in mind, because of the locked down nature of the distribution, it wouldn't be able to receive updates. So I ended up using PCFluxbox, which is based on PCLinuxOS. Because it's a kiosk and the main function is to browse the web, I ensured the Firefox browser was fully loaded, including JRE, Flash, a PDF reader, a media player, etc. And I thought that with these goals in mind, it seemed it would be very useful for people who have little to no IT experience to have this, so that they could offer internet access in their venues. So I made it available for download and knocked up a website to accompany it. This is that site. So really it's very simple. A person who wants to offer internet kiosks just needs a router handing out IP addresses, a few PCs configured to boot off CD or USB memory stick or similar, and really the only knowledge the person running the venue needs is to be able to turn the machine off and on if ever it freezes. When they turn it off and on, they get presented with a completely new blank slate, a fresh virgin installation, as it were. This proved to be popular, very popular indeed. I was receiving emails from people all over the world, either with questions or to say thanks or both, and it received some press attention too. It was popular here in the UK and right through to schools in Africa and India, which, as you can imagine, was very heartwarming to say the least. But that was some time ago, and with the emergence of mobile phones, this isn't really being used anymore. I receive very few emails, and in my own pub, the terminals aren't used, so I'm removing them. But before I do, I thought I'd make this quick video showing a little about it. First off, this is it booting. In this case, it's in a virtual machine, but I'll show it later, running on one of the terminals in our bar. And these messages are related to VirtualBox. Obviously that doesn't come up in the distribution. To keep it simple, logging in is just a click away. And that's the desktop. I chose and configured the desktop and application suite. In this case, it's the fully loaded Firefox browser, Messenger application, Pigeon, Skype, volume control, time, a task manager, and a way to turn the machine off. This particular version is different to the one available for public download in just one respect. The home page for the Firefox browser is configured to be the home page that's on our internal intranet. The distribution that's available for download has Google as the home page for the browser. The browser is completely locked down and you can't download anything to any devices and the like. The browser is completely refreshed every time it's closed. So for example, if you have a banking website URL in there, as soon as you close the browser, everything is wiped from the memory. Nothing's kept. So if a person comes along after you and they try to go to the site you've gone to, there's no history, there's no keeping of passwords, nothing at all. even if you open multiple instances of the browser and try to hide one off page, as soon as you close one browser instance, they all close and they're all wiped. In the past, I've had people ask me what's the safest way to bank and shop online, and I've said to download this and burn it onto a CD or put it onto a USB memory stick or whatever, then to boot the PC or laptop from it and do what they've got to do, then turn it off and go back to the normal desktop. Every keyboard shortcut has been disabled, so there's no sneaky back ways into the system, and the rare times there is a problem, there's a simple task manager where you can kill any errant processes. In the time it was used by the public and by me, it did its job very well. I never received a single report of a compromised system. However, web technologies have moved on, and because this doesn't receive updates, which is part of the reason why it's so secure, more and more messages were being flashed on the screen, and certain sites didn't display correctly. An example is YouTube. Obviously there's omissions here, and if I open Facebook, and it's a minute later and it's still not done, so that's not right. And Foursquare, and there's lots of those. In that case, just one. So you can see I either get messages flashing up on the screen, or things don't display correctly, or it takes an age. I did consider updating all of this and maybe introducing a few features such as going through a proxy server, making it touchscreen compatible and more. But as I mentioned before, mobile devices make this more and more redundant, so time for it to go. But before I sign off, I'm just going to show you our setup in the bar running this exact software. And that's our two computers in the bar, running the same software that you've just seen. The computers themselves are up on the shelves, up there, away from customers' prying fingers. Logging on is, as you've just seen, click the icon, and away it goes. These computers are running off a USB key. And there we go, the desktop. And there's my Dr. Circuit channel with the same emissions as you saw previously on my other channel. And even though this browser is stuck several years in the past and web technologies have moved on, it can still just about play videos. For example, I have the sound coming through headphones, obviously. I don't want to disturb the customers. So yes, they work after a fashion. They worked flawlessly several years ago, but now these browsers are several years old and people use mobile devices for everything. Time for these computers to go. Anyway, until next time, bye for now.